Oh, my little crep Suzanne should teach Louise how to properly handcuff people without bruising them. Still, my injuries would no doubt be worse if Eve hadn't lied to Louise and Sheridan about what really happened that night that Martin Fitzgerald disappeared. To a crisis averted. Hello.
Well, Julian, have you had any thoughts on how best to separate Louise and Sheridan? Because we can't allow your sister and that damn cop to stay together, or Louise will eventually discover our family's darkest secret, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, I've thought about it, Father, and after much deliberation, I have concluded that we should leave Louise and Sheridan alone.
And you wonder why I removed you as my heir.
Well, be that as it may, Sheridan no longer believes she killed Louise's father. The threat to our family is no more.
This is so typical of the way you handle problems, Julian. You bury your face in a brandy snifter while things spiral out of control.
Fine. I'll put all my energy into separating Louise and Sheridan. Of course, the merger contract's dependent upon Ethan and Gwen's wedding. We'll just have to wait. But after all, if you're willing to risk the billions of dollars to be made on a union of the Crane-Hotchkiss family, who am I to argue?
Although I don't appreciate your tone, Julian, I do appreciate your point. Ethan and Gwen's wedding is the most important piece of business facing us now. If it doesn't come off as planned, the financial consequences to the Crane Empire would be disastrous. Ethan must marry Gwen at all cost.
Father, there's no reason to think that Ethan and Gwen's nuptials won't go off as planned.
As usual, Julian, you don't have a clue. I've heard rumblings of trouble in that relationship.
Trouble? What kind of trouble?
Is Alistair here? One of the maids said he wanted to see me in the library.
Yes, Ivy, dear. I wanted to ask you some questions.
Alistair, you're on the speakerphone. Well, I should have known you wouldn't actually be here at the estate.
Are you disappointed I'm not there in the flesh?
Yes. I'd love to see you.
Well, try to hold on a little while longer, my dear. I'll see you at the wedding.
I'll look forward to it.
As do I. It's been a while since we had a chance to talk face to face.
Too long.
There's some things going on in the family I don't like.
Oh?
When I get home, I'm going to make some changes, shake things up. Till then, I need to know why Rebecca Hotchkiss seems to think Pilar's daughter is trying to get her claws into Ethan.
Well, Rebecca voiced some concerns, but it's much ado about nothing. Ethan loves Gwen, and he's going to marry her. I'll make sure of that.
Excellent. I'm glad you're taking a hard line on this wedding, Ivy. It's imperative that it go off without a hitch.
It will, Alistair. You'll see.
Still, I wonder where Rebecca got the idea that Teresa was pursuing Ethan.
Ask your son. He knows.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't want to be one to tell tales out of school. But Julian has been encouraging Ethan to bed Teresa for, some time now.
What? Thank you, dear.
Julian, what the hell were you thinking, encouraging Ethan to bed the housekeeper's daughter?
I was merely having a heart-to-heart talk with my son, Father.
You're a fool, Julian, a blithering idiot. I just hope no one overheard you.
Well, I hate to cause trouble. But I overheard him. And, someone else did too.
Who, Ivy? Who else knows about this?
Gwen. Gwen overheard Julian tell Ethan, dare I say it, to get it on with Teresa before he tied the knot.
Julian, you're even dumber than I thought, if that's possible. If anything happens to derail this wedding, I'll cut you off completely. You'll be living in a cardboard box swilling domestic beer with two-bit hookers if Gwen and Ethan don't get married as planned. You're an idiot, Julian. Our family is poised to make billions of dollars when Ethan marries Gwen. And you not only tell your son to bed Pilar's daughter, you let Gwen overhear you. What is wrong with you, man? Did one of the nannies drop you on your head when you were a baby?
Alistair, I completely understand your outrage with Julian. Believe me, I do. But there's no reason to worry. Rebecca's fears are groundless. I had a long talk with Ethan. He understands the importance of his marriage to Gwen, what it means to him and to the family. Ethan himself told me he loves Gwen, so there's no reason to think that the wedding won't go on as scheduled.
Well, Ivy, I must thank you for being so astute. I'm glad at least one of Ethan's parents understands the importance of this marriage. I'll talk to you both later. Goodbye, Ivy, dear. Julian.
You venomous witch! As if tonight could get any worse, you have to wander in here and play tattletale with Father.
What can I say? I love watching you squirm.
You know, this whole thing is your fault for hiring Teresa as your assistant in the first place, putting temptation right under Ethan's nose.
Well, if he was tempted, he didn't act on it, even when you so lewdly suggested he should.
It doesn't matter anyway. The wedding will go off as planned. Ethan's just like his father. He'll do what he knows is right. I would like to propose a toast.
To our continued happy marriage.
If I may be serious for a moment.
By all means.
Even with all our differences, there's one thing we can agree on, one thing we did right. That is Ethan. To our son, Ethan, and his wedding to Gwen, may it be as beautiful as it will be profitable.
Nothing. And no one will get in the way of my son's marriage to Gwen. I want it as much as you and Alistair do. But only for Ethan's sake. Ethan will marry Gwen. No matter what I have to do.